Harper Audio presents The Good Girl's Guide to Murder, a Debutante Dropout mystery, by Susan McBride. Performed by Amy McFadden. Chapter 1. Put it down, or I'll kill you. Mary Lee Mabry didn't even have to raise her voice, and the huge vase of flowers was hastily lowered. The elaborate arrangement from one of Dallas's premier floral designers, Dr. Delphinium, nearly hid the woman behind it, until she deposited the bouquet on the coffee table with a clunk and backed away. Sorry, ma'am. I was just trying to help with the party preparations. Mary Lee scowled at the unadorned face and wild dark hair hanging down to where boobs should have been. What was it with these new-age flower children? Hadn't they heard of straightening wands, padded bras, or Bobby Brown? She flicked beringed fingers, motioning the girl away. "Please do me a favor and go help somewhere else," she instructed, indifferent to the chill in her drawl, and watched the bewildered expression turn to dismay. Can't believe that you're not anything like I'd imagined. Oh, forget it," the young woman stammered, then ducked her head and scurried off like a frightened rabbit. Was she an intern? A friend of Kendall's? Though she looked at least a decade older than Kendall's 18. Was she someone from Twinkle Productions? One of the Sweet Life's newer production assistants. She had to be. There seemed to be bushels of those lately. Mary Lee tapped a finger to her lips, thinking something about the shape of the hazel eyes and set of the mouth seemed familiar. A name was on the tip of her tongue, really. Something with an R, wasn't it? Randa, Retha, Renee. Heavens to Betsy, she couldn't expect to remember everyone. There were always so many people wandering around her offices and the Sweet Life set these days, half of them unfamiliar. Her staff had grown so fast in the past 6 weeks, thanks to an infusion of crew from Twinkle, that she'd long since given up memorizing names and faces. Thank God this was Texas, and calling everyone hun worked in a pinch. Still, it was disconcerting to feel that she had strangers among her inner circle. When they'd started out years ago, taping locally at one of the downtown stations, she'd had only a small crew operating on a shoestring. She trusted department heads to do the hiring now, while she focused on hosting the show, on writing books, making videotapes, and developing related projects. Even if she wanted to, and she didn't, she simply couldn't be all things to all people. She wasn't an octopus. She only had 2 hands, for God's sake. Though that was the price of fame, wasn't it? She sighed. Never mind, she told herself, and fiddled with the vase overflowing with artfully arranged oriental lilies and green bamboo until it looked absolutely perfect. She stepped back to admire her handiwork, clicking tongue against teeth. If she wanted anything done right, she still had to do it herself. Wasn't that always the way? Even married to Gilbert, she'd had to do everything. Take care of the house, pay the bills, set up doctor's appointments, arrange vacations, and, perhaps trickiest of all, rear their daughter. Dear, troubled Kendall, she mused with a shake of her head. The girl had been a fussy baby and a demanding toddler, ripening into a needy teenager who required far more attention than Mary Lee could possibly give. Though it wasn't all Mary Lee's fault. Half that responsibility fell on Gil. Kendall had never received the affection she'd wanted from her father, or so the therapists had concurred, and, for that matter, neither had Mary Lee. Kendall had been getting on her nerves all morning, whining about not being allowed to borrow any of Mary's best jewelry, complaining that her new pair of Jimmy Choos pinched her toes, and begging Mary to open the bottle of reserve stock Dom Perignon she'd been hoarding for tonight's big event, "so I can have a little taste." It was enough to give her an ulcer, if she didn't have one already. Instinctively, Mary Lee reached for her third left finger, but it was bare. No wedding band to twist.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?